social media has become an important tool when it comes to awareness and promotion, and no one knows that better than my next guest. She is the author of a children's fairy tale book called The Merdragon. I got a copy of it right here. And she also has a new sequel out called The Merdragon Secrets. Her name is Frankie Williams. Frankie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm very good. It's good to talk to you. Now, you and I spoke off camera before, and I told you about grappling with grief, and I told you how the concept is to talk about people's stories whenever they had to cope with grief in their lives, had to overcome grief, and talk about how they were able to channel it into something positive. And that's exactly what you did. You channeled your grief into something that not only helped you, but it helped your family, it helped you discover your passion for writing. And so I think that this is a great story to tell. I want to start kind of from the beginning. So you're from North Carolina.
Yes, I am.
and a mom to 4 kids, 3 girls and a boy.
Right.
Now, I got 2 kids, 2 little kids. I can't imagine what it must have been like raising 4, especially among those 4 kids. You had a set of twins.
Right. Yeah.
How was life for you raising 4 kids?
It was interesting. I tell you, we didn't have any dull moments, and we had a lot of good times together. We had a lot of fun together. We laughed a lot, so
Good.
It was pretty easy. It was pretty easy.
Good. So you know, obviously no headaches, no strokes. Hopefully, everything was good.
Yeah.
Now, I want to start to tell your story. It was in May of 2019. Something happened to one of your twins. So you have a twin boy and girl, Shaun and Shauntae. And in May of 2019, something happened to Shauntae. Do you mind talking about that a little bit and telling me what happened?
Um, well, she passed away from undiagnosed heart disease. Um, we didn't, we didn't know. We didn't know, and that changed everything for me.
For
For
sure.
all of us.
For sure it would. And she was young at the time, right?
Yes, she was. Yes,
How old was she?
she's 36, and
36.
she was slightly mentally challenged. Not a lot, but enough to always need mama. And
Nice. That's nice.
when she passed, you realize a lot of things. She needed me, and I needed her. So, but a lot of things changed for us
I'm sure.
after that.
I'm sure. Now, I've seen you do fundraising for the American Heart Association. I saw it on your Facebook page. Is that the main charity that you've been working
Yeah.
with in honor of Shantae?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And
Um,
you told me off the air yesterday about proceeds from your book too.
yes, the first. Well, yeah, the book. I'm sorry. The first when we released it in February, from February to May 1st, when she passed, we donated everything from that book, every penny it made from that day to the day of her passing to American Heart Association, and still now to this day we give portions of the sales to, because that's a thing that nobody should have to deal with, especially if they don't know. We didn't know.
Yep.
And you have a way of looking back and saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda, but that's just not the way it went.
And I can relate. I told you off the air about my situation with my father and my sister. And
Right.
with my sister, the same. You know, my sister was 49. And so you do kind of question, could I have done more? And I think
Right.
that's a natural feeling that a lot of people have, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Now,
I think.
one thing I do want to ask you about Shantae, because, you know, obviously one of the things that I want to do is I want to promote awareness and I want to promote prevention. Uh, the heart defect that she had, is that the kind of thing that might have been picked up in a heart test or something? Had she, because obviously people do not day to day get a heart test. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's not something that you would normally get. But let's say somebody's watching this and maybe they, you know, want to be preventative. Is that the kind of thing that could be found in a heart test, or is that the kind of thing that it's just not detectable?
It can be found with a cardiologist. Most doctors don't really check for that unless you make a complaint of, a situation with yourself. But then they'll also still send you to a cardiologist. So
Okay.
I think people should, even if you don't feel any pain or feel anything, I think people should at least periodically see a cardiologist just to be aware. I think.
Right. Right. Well, as you know, the outlet that helped me cope with my father's cancer diagnosis was a documentary that I produced about the lives of my parents. And when my sister was diagnosed, I wanted to again seek out some kind of an outlet to help me cope and to help me just be able to talk about it, quite honestly. In
Yeah.
your situation, your first outlet to kind of help you cope with your grief was a Facebook group.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the Facebook group.
Well, I started this group because when you're grieving, you're looking for anything, any outlet that you can have, and you just want to talk about it. Some talking about it helps a lot.
100%.
And people people some people don't understand the conversation you want to have. So when you have people and you're all dealing with the same situations, you kind of give each other the strength that you need, and that's what we do. We just lean on each other. And by me creating that group, it helped me a lot. Helped me a whole lot.
And I understand that initially, what's the group called? PWA, is that right?
Yes, PWA. It's parents with it's actually parents slash people with angels. And the reason I put the slash people is because my son wanted to be a part of the group, and he's like, "Well, I'm not a parent, but I want to be in a group." So I'm like, "Well, you know what? We're gonna fix it to where everybody can be in the group." So that's when I did the slash people.
Awesome. And lucky it still starts with P. It still fits.
Yes, it does.
Now, there's a country singer by the name of Craig Morgan. And he lost his 19-year-old son named Jerry in 2016.
Right,
3 years later, in 2019, he wrote a song dedicated to his son. The song was called "The Father, My Son, and the Holy Ghost," and that
right,
was effectively Craig Morgan's outlet. That was something that he did to kind of help him heal after he lost his son.
right.
There is a famous country singer people have probably heard of named Blake Shelton. He's also a
Yes,
judge on The Voice.
right. Yeah.
And he supported Craig Morgan's efforts with that song, and he was helping him promote it on social media. And
Yeah.
then you reached out to Blake Shelton at that time, and he offered you some words of encouragement. Can you
Yeah, he
tell
did.
me, what did you say to him, and what did he say back to you at that time?
Well, I wanted him to know that I was starting a group, and it was dealing with what his friend Craig Morgan was dealing with, same as what I was dealing with, and I wanted really for him to help me. I don't know, maybe tweet about the group, something to get it out there that people knew that it existed. And so this is what I said to him, that she passed away and what happened. And so he responded he gave me some really encouraging words. He was just, it made me cry because he was just so genuine. And he just wished me the best of luck. And he said, he was sorry for my daughter's passing, and that people like me and Craig encouraged him because we're trying to help people while we're dealing with our own grief. And so that just made me feel really good. He's a really good person.
Now, you decided to write a book. And from what I understand, you told your husband that you had this idea, and your husband's reaction was, "Yeah, sure you will."
Yeah. Now I walked in the room and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write a book. He was like, oh, okay, well, write the book. And months down the road, months on down the road, he looked at me. He said, "You really wrote a book." So it was just, I just needed to do that. I just needed to do that.
You had never written a book before.
Never,
And had it ever occurred to you before to do something like this? Is this an idea that you had in the back of your mind for a while?
never. I've never.
Really?
It was never there. I never thought about it, and it was just we were really really grieving, and my kids were having a hard time with it. I was having a hard time with it, and we were always just so happy go lucky, laughing so it was just it was just something that the Lord meant for us to do together, and it helped a lot.
And
That's that's where I can put that.
what made you decide to choose that as your outlet? What made you decide, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write and I'm going to, create a book?
Well, I just felt like, well, one thing, Craig Morgan and Blake Shelton, kind of, just the fact that he was able to do something for his son, to honor his son, And I was like, well, I want to do something. I just got something in here that I need to say, but singing wasn't it. So, so I was just sitting there and I just started writing, and it went from there. And then everybody got involved with it, and my son, his name is Sean. He's Shauntae's my daughter that passed, and he's her twin. And so we all just got involved with it, and it was a great thing for us.
You never know. By the end of this, I'll have you belting out a tune, maybe.
I don't think you want me to do that. I'll
So,
write you the song.
so I understand that when Sean and Shauntae were 6 years old, Shauntae told you that she wanted to be a mermaid and Sean could be a dragon. And so that's where the idea came up as far as the Merdragon is
Right.
concerned. Now, the main character in the book, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, is it Nevaeh?
Nevaeh.
Nevaeh, okay. Does Nevaeh represent Shauntae?
She represents her. The reason we chose Nevaeh, this is a really strange story. Well, Nevaeh is actually my granddaughter.
Oh, okay.
But I was when we were writing the book, and my daughters we were all, bouncing ideas off each other. They had a hard time saying her name as much as Nevaeh said repeatedly throughout the book,
Yes.
and they had a hard time saying her name that much. So that's why we put my granddaughter's name in place of Shauntae. But Nevaeh is Shauntae, but it was still too fresh to use her name.
Got it. I got it. Okay. And so tell me some of the characteristics that Nevaeh has in the book that are related to Shauntae.
She's funny. There's a little humor in there. And she's really spunky. She cared about people. I mean, she was a people lover, and sometimes she listened, sometimes she didn't. But it's just her. The whole essence of Nevaeh is just her, and we felt that when we were writing it. But like I said, we didn't say her name that much because my children were really like, "Mom, we're just saying Shauntae so much. Can we just just put a different name in that spot just for now?" And so that's what we did. So I was like, well, you know what? We're putting Nevaeh. Because
That's
like I said,
good.
it's my granddaughter. And plus Nevaeh spelled backwards is heaven. So with me, I was okay with the fact
Man, I
that
never even noticed that.
yeah, it is.
Wow. Okay. There you go. There
So
you
that was a
go.
way of using her name but not saying her name. So
Very nice. That was appropriate.
yeah.
Now, I know that the production of this book was a real family affair
Yes.
because your youngest daughter did the artwork,
Yes.
your middle daughter edited the book,
Yes.
and your son, Sean, the twin brother,
Yeah.
he not only helped come up with the villain in the book, but
Right.
one of the characters' brothers in the book is named Sean.
Right. Yeah.
So everybody was involved in this thing.
Everybody's in the book. And well, I don't know if well in the next I guess I may be speaking out of turn, but my grandson is in the next book.
Do you mean Secrets or do you mean another book?
He's in Secrets, but I'm working on another book too.
I was going to get to that, and I kind of thought you might be.
I'm
But
sorry, I'm jumping all out of turn.
oh no, it's okay. It's okay. Well, I was going to ask you something about Merdragon Secrets anyway, because I heard that there was a family connection in there. I don't know if it was the grandson. I heard something about a grandmother was also connected to the Merdragon Secrets.
Yes, she is. Shauntae's only living their last living grandparent. Her name is Estella, and she passed in July from COVID-19.
Really?
Yeah, she did. And so I was still in the process of writing Merdragon Secrets. So I put her in the book. So now she's in there also. So everybody got emotional. We almost didn't meet the deadline because we were so emotional because we were dealing with and in Merdragon Secrets, we actually put Shauntae in there. So this is the first time her name came into play.
Okay.
And then her grandmother's name. So there was a lot going on. So we were, we had a moment, but we did it.
Great. I'm glad it got done. And then I told you off camera, I have a daughter named Lily, and I started reading the Merdragon to her. And one of the characters' mothers in the book is named Lily.
Right.
And when I read that out, my daughter's eyes lit up. She's 5 years old, and her eyes lit up.
Great.
So I thought that was a good connection. Now, walk me through the process here. So you decide you're going to write a book.
Right.
You decide it's going to be about a girl who's half mermaid, half dragon.
Right.
Did you come up with the whole story first, or did you just kind of come up with it as you were writing it?
That's the same thing my children ask me. I did not know a single word of that story, not from the beginning to now. All I knew is I wanted to write a book about a merdragon. I wanted to put my children together the way she said it, a mermaid and a dragon. But I didn't know the story, and I didn't know how the story was going to start. I just sat down and the story started. And I let my daughter, my Jasmine, the one that edited the book, I let her read the first chapter. She was like, I really like that, Mom. She was like, what's going to happen next? And I said, I have no idea. So I did not know the story. Even Merdragon Secrets, I didn't know the story. It's just story. The story just came. So it's not something I knew. So that had to be God also, because I definitely didn't know the story.
That's
Didn't know how
great.
to start it.
So eventually the book is finished, and you hook up with a publisher,
Yeah.
and your book launches in different places, including Amazon.
Right.
I know it can be very hard to generate awareness and generate publicity for something. People have so many options now when it comes to consuming content.
Right.
How did the book do when it first came out?
Merdragon or Merdragon
The
Secret?
Merdragon.
The Merdragon came out and she released at the number one.
Really, when it first came out, it came out number one.
When she first came out, she came out new release, number one new release.
Wow, wow.
Stayed there. It stayed there. I think the first, maybe the first. I'm pretty sure the first week. Look, I have it all in my phone, but I'm pretty sure it was the first week, and it stayed there for a week, I think.
Now, was that before or after you reached back out to Blake Shelton?
That was before.
That was before. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is where the power of social media kind of really comes into play. So you reached back out to Blake Shelton again,
Right.
and the second time, what did you say to him, and how did he respond to you?
Well, the second time I reached out to him, I told him, I said, I don't know if you remember me, but I remember that last year, you had kind words about my daughter, and I wrote a book for her, and I wanted to send him a copy. And I told him, I said, I knew you didn't give me his address. So I said, if you prefer to order it yourself, here's the link. And so he retweeted it and he said, I'll order it. Then he said, actually, let's all order it. And it just went from there. It really went from there. I was stunned. Most people to get him to respond to me twice was just totally amazing to me. But he's really a nice person. He really is. And
Now,
I appreciate him.
this is how I found your story because TMZ wrote a story about this.
Right.
So that's how I found out about you. Now, was this one of these moments where you post a tweet to Blake Shelton, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and your phone's blown up? Was it one of those kind of
It was
situations?
one of those kind of things, and I talked with them, and I gave them the story and everything. But it was next thing I know, it was everywhere. I mean, I've seen at least at least 30 different news articles, and I'm like, oh my god! And I didn't even know he'd done it because a friend of mine called me. She said, "What's going on with you and Twitter?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You need to look at it." I said, "Okay." So when I go in, I see all these comments, my notifications, and I started reading them. People were saying, "I got mine. I ordered mine." I'm like, "You ordered your what?" So, so I started scrolling, and I came across it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I said, "Oh my god" for 10 minutes, 10 whole minutes. So it was something, it was something.
And how did book sales go? And you don't have to tell me numbers, but how did book sales go after Blake Shelton posted
Wow.
that message? I imagine, right?
Oh yeah, they went. I mean, he told his fans that they should order, and I think they just said, "Hey, we're going to do that because you said so." So it just really. I mean, I think people were waiting. a week to 2 weeks for their books.
Wow.
So it was backed up pretty
Back
good.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you wrote the first book, did you already have it in your mind, I'm going to turn this into a series? Or was it a situation where, Blake Shelton posts this tweet, sales blow up, and then you decide, okay, I got to write a sequel?
No, actually, before he even got involved, because the book came out in February, so there was already the way the book ended. It required a sequel, so it was before him. Um, he just he just made that book do a lot of different things, but yeah, it was before him. Before we'd already decided to do a sequel. I can't say we had decided; the book decided, because
Right.
I was going to write one book, but it went in a different direction, and it started growing all on its own. So I I just went with it, you know.
Now, not to be undone, as we're taping this right now, it's August of 2020. Not to be undone, Kelly Clarkson, another celebrity, she just posted a message on Twitter about the book. Now, anybody not familiar, Kelly Clarkson, the first ever American Idol winner, and now she's got her own successful daytime talk show. So she posted on Twitter that she just ordered 2 copies. What kind of response did you get from that? Because I think it's debatable she's an even bigger star than Blake Shelton, maybe, or at least on the level.
Yeah, I think that's debatable too. But the sales started going up again. They've actually, the more exposure it's getting, the more the sales have gone up, and so yeah, it's gone up pretty much.
And so now you're not just an author, you're a best-selling author.
I don't know about this stuff.
Technically, I think you are. So I was looking up the Merdragon secrets,
Hmm.
and from what I understand, it debuted at #1 in certain categories, in certain, I think it
Yeah,
was like folklore category or something on Amazon.com.
right.
So it's doing pretty well.
Oh, so you talking about Secrets?
Secrets, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Secrets is doing some stuff. It is definitely, but
Now,
we're proud of it. We're proud of it.
you and I spoke about this off camera, but you and I both were not alone when it comes to experiencing the loss of a loved one. A lot of
Yeah,
people happens to them on some level. Oftentimes, people feel alone when it happens to them, or they don't know where to turn. They don't think
right.
anybody can relate, and sometimes that leads to mental health or even physical health challenges in
Yeah.
people. So, as someone who has experienced the loss of a loved one and found a way to channel that into something really great, what would you say to anyone going through a similar situation? Anyone who's currently dealing with what you dealt with? What words would you have for them?
Oh wow. I know you can feel lost, and you just can't seem to find the comfort in it, and you can't understand it, and it hurts so much. But there's a positive in it. I mean, it may not, it may sound cliche, but it's true. If you find a way to honor your loved one, it actually makes you feel better. And I feel like what we're doing for her, and it made it's a healing process for us. Everything about it is a healing process. You just gotta not give up and keep pushing and stay positive. And it's really easy not to be that, but it's really easy to do that too. You just gotta keep going for them, if nothing else, for them. And that's what I get out of it. That sounds corny, but it's true.
No, it doesn't sound corny at all. And, I imagine 2 years ago, you didn't think you were ever going to be the author of a book series,
No, I
you
did
know?
not.
And here you
I
are
didn't.
now, and you've kind of quietly revealed that you're working on book #3. And
Yeah, I did.
so where do you think you're going to go from here? Like, are you thinking, maybe you can parlay this into merchandise? Are you looking into that? Or you never even know if there could be a movie in it for you, Frankie?
You never know. I don't. You just have to. You just gotta have faith in what you're doing, and just go in the direction it takes you. I don't know where it's going to take me, but hey, if that's where it takes me, I'm fine with that. But the whole thing for me is just doing something that honors her. So that's the main thing for me. I'm trying not to cry. But I think that just gives me a lot of joy to just know that she's still involved, you know. She may not be here physically, but she's still involved in our lives every day. And so we've included her in everything. And it's a good feeling. Good feeling.
For sure, for sure. Well, I like your story a lot. I think your story is very inspiring. And I like to see good things happen to good people. And I told you this off the air. Once this, anybody that's watching this on YouTube right now, that means that obviously we've launched this interview. And once this is up, I'm going to do a giveaway on Grappling with Grief's Twitter account, where I'm going to give away multiple copies of both the Merdragon and the Merdragon Secrets. And so, you know, we're going to do our part to kind of get the word out there even more.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
and until then, I'm going to say again, I've been talking to Frankie Williams. She is the author of The Merdragon and The Merdragon Secrets. And tell the people, where can they find the book? I'm guessing not just Amazon, but everywhere online where books are sold?
Yes, everywhere online where books are sold.
Awesome.
But, that's pretty much pretty much everywhere.
Great.
Never thought I'd hear me say that.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Frankie, and good luck with book number 3. It's great talking to you.
Thank you. Great talking to you too.